Hello, welcome to this video. My name's Dan, aka Lucen. I'm a singer-songwriter and music producer person, and today I'm going to be ranking 2022's biggest pop albums using a tier list thing. So let's go. Oh yeah. Okay, so I've never done one of these before, but I thought it would be hilarious to do 2022's biggest pop albums with one of these fun tier list things. I love watching these. Yes, so I've made one. It's featuring like 17 different albums from 2022. Obviously, I haven't listened to everything, so this is mostly the ones I've reacted to and then a few others that were like key ones that I thought needed to be included. And I'll be ranking them according to a mixture of personal, subjective, like ones that just vibe with me personally, and my kind of objective thoughts on like how it was made, how well it does what it is trying to do, you know. So it's a mixture of objectivity and subjectivity, so please don't come for me. Or if you do want to come for me, then feel free, but please don't be mean. I can't take mean. And if there's any other albums that I haven't got on this list that I need to listen to, then make sure to leave it in the comments, and I might get around to reacting them at some point. But yeah, I want to hear all your thoughts. I want to hear what you think. If you want to do it as well, then the link is in the description and you can do your own, you can rank these as well, and then we can see what the community thinks and see if everyone agrees with me or not. If this is your first video with me, then welcome to the channel. I am a singer-songwriter. I love making music myself, and that's the way I kind of dissect music, and I mostly do album reactions on this channel. So if you want to check all that stuff out, make sure to check out those videos, yes, and subscribe for more stuff. And if you want to support me even further, then you can do over on Patreon, where you can get early videos and you can request reactions and things like that. Yeah, right, I'm not sure I'm ready for this. I've got green screen. We'll see if I can actually make it look decent, or if there's just like, I don't know, like fried eggs behind me, or anyway. Here we go. Look at this. And I'm appearing in the corner. Oh, look. Albums. Oh, maybe it's that way. I don't fucking know. Okay, so I think I'm going to go vaguely in order of like when they came out. So the first one, I think, was Dawn FM. The Weeknd, like, surprised everybody by putting out this, like, image of him as, like, an old man and saying, I've got a new album coming out, like, now. And it was amazing. Like, as much as, like, I don't think it was, like, the biggest kind of boppy album of the year. Like, I feel like some of his earlier albums have like so many big hits on. This one had less kind of hits. The concept of it was so cool. It's basically like a concept of someone driving towards heaven's gates. So the album takes place on the radio station as you're going to heaven. And so it's really weird and trippy, but it really goes with that theme. And the narrator, the person who's doing the radio station, is Jim Carrey. So it's a real trip, but it's so fun. It's really good. See, this is like where like I'm such an optimist when I listen to music, but now I have to be a bit critical because I can't just give everybody S tier. So this one, really good concept, but it hasn't stuck with me that much. There are a couple of songs like Less Than Zero stuck with me, but not many of them really struck a chord and a long-lasting thing, as much as it was a really interesting album to listen to. I'm thinking B? Could be A. But then there's like Take My Breath. Oh yeah. Maybe I'll give it A. This is gonna be really hard. I'm gonna go for A, actually, because I think it was a really well executed concept. Cool, okay, I'm down. Strong start. Okay, I think next was Night Call by Years and Years. Like, I've been a big fan of theirs for a while, and then they kind of half split up, and Ollie Alexander went on his own, but still is under the name Years and Years. So this project was like a very, very different project, being like the first almost like solo album from Ollie. There was a lot of catchy songs on there, but I feel like there wasn't a stronger kind of direction sonically, which I think is probably the thing that was maybe lost by losing his collaborators. I'm not gonna say it was generic, but it was slightly more generic than the sound of their earlier albums. I love Ollie, and there were some really, really good songs on there. Like, it just doesn't have a like stronger kind of opinion as the earlier ones, but I think I'm gonna put it in C. I haven't got many albums on here that are like ones I didn't like, but I'm a bit of an optimist. I enjoy stuff. I'm not sure if anything's going to go in D. Maybe I'm just not that critical. I'm just too nice. Anyway, let's go on to the next one. I think next on the list was Aurora. Now, this was a slightly strange one to listen to because I think she took a bit of a kind of turn sonically and narratively. Ultimately, it works really well. There are some songs like Heathens that I just think are wonderful. It doesn't necessarily live up, maybe not as like bigger heights as some of the earlier albums though. Like I didn't cry. So that makes it slightly difficult. Yes. I don't know. This album actually, in seeing it performed live as well, really helped me establish my thoughts on it too. I think I'm going to put it a B. It's kind of crazy because it has really high highs, but like I just don't think it's her best. This is really hard and I feel really horrible saying that. I love Aurora. That makes me think I should put Dawn FM in B as well. Okay, I'm gonna actually move Dawn FM to B. Can I do that? Okay, Dawn FM's going into B. Oh god, this is gonna be such a messy video if I just keep doing this. Okay, after this, I'm gonna have to stick to it. But I'm now thinking that like, otherwise we're gonna have a big clog at A. Okay, maybe I should put Years and Years at D then. Okay, so I've re-evaluated the tiers and I'm gonna not change it again. Years and Years has gone down to D because I need to use the breadth of the whole thing. And D by no means is bad. So yes, B is gonna be for ones that I enjoyed but didn't necessarily stick with me. A is gonna be for ones that I really, really loved. And then S is like the absolute tip top best life-changing albums. That's how we're going with it. Okay, good. Okay, so next, what came out next? I think it might have been Charlie XCX. Oh no, it was Sigrid. Good album, if not life-changing. I'd say it's going to be below these two. There are a few songs on there that have really stuck with me. Like I really like It Gets Dark. I really like Burning Bridges. But it's not like hugely moving or hugely like evolutionary for Sigrid. Laurel Hell. Yeah, this one didn't really stick with me that much. Like on first listen, I thought it was quite good. I enjoyed it, but like, I don't know, it didn't really stick with me. So I'm going to put that one in D. So Charlie XCX with Crash. Now this one actually surprised me because not that much Charlie stuff has like really got me going. I think she's really a fascinating artist, but like up until this point, it was like, this is like fascinating, but like not that much of the stuff has stuck with me. But I think with this album, it kind of returned slightly more towards pop center. So I don't know, there was a little bit more for me to like grasp onto in terms of enjoyability and replayability. Songs like Move Me, I think are wonderful. I love Move Me. Did that make it into my top 10 songs of the year? No, it didn't, did it? It's number 11. But like the Rina Sawayama collab was disappointing, and considering how much I love Rina, that was a bit like meh. But yeah, it surprised me by how many songs on there I did listen to. There was like 4 or 5 that I kept listening to. So maybe I'm gonna put that in B. B tier for Charlie? Yeah. So next in the year, oh no, wait, no, because Motomami was the same day as Charlie XCX. I don't know about these. They're probably in the wrong order. Whatever. I'm going loosely in order of the year so that we end with Taylor, basically. So let's talk about Motomami, shall we? Motomami, I'd never heard of Rosalia. She's obviously a Spanish artist and I've never come across that much Spanish music. But listening to it, it was really like one of those remarkable moments in pop music this year that like, not only did it like take over TikTok challenges and was huge on YouTube and huge like streaming figures and stuff. She took over the world with this album, but also like, I found something that I adored in an album that is of a kind of slightly more alternative genre to what I'm used to. I think on paper, someone telling me, oh yeah, like a hip hop fusion, experimental, like flamenco, like thing. Well, like I wouldn't necessarily have like, if someone had told me that, I would have been like, what? Okay. But yeah, not only did it surprise me on a kind of like, how well is this made objectively, this is brilliant, this is inspiring, this is different kind of level. Some of the songs were so moving, like Genis in particular. Like if you see my top 10 songs of the year, that made it very high. That was a really big song for me. I thought it was absolutely wonderful. But yeah, a lot of them really stuck with me as well. So I'm gonna go for A, because it's really brilliantly done, but it's not like my top listen of the year, but it's certainly up there and certainly very inspiring. Okay, let's go with Florence and the Machine. Yeah, Florence and the Machine and Harry's House were next. Next, Dance Fever. I've been a huge fan of Florence and the Machine for years. I went to see her last week on the only date of the UK tour that she did, where she broke her foot. And now it's delayed to next year. So I was very lucky. Poor girl. But yeah, me and my mum went and we had an amazing time. Love her. This album was a very interesting one. When you listen to it on headphones, it's a very different experience to when you listen to it on a speaker. I bought my mum the CD and she was playing it in the car and she was like, I can't hear most of it. And I was like, oh, a lot of it doesn't seem to be mixed for car radio or like speakers and stuff. Like, I haven't known an album to have such a different feeling when you listen to it on headphones compared to when you listen to it on a speaker. But I guess it goes to show that she's really going for a thing. So in that sense, it worked really, really well. It's an experience. A lot of it works, some of it doesn't work so well. I think there's a bit of a lull after the first 3 or 4 songs. But that said, it features some of her absolute best lyrics. I think, actually, no, it features her best lyricism ever. Absolutely like stark lyrics on there that are really deep and dark and like bare and raw, but also very poetic. Like on Girls Against God, it feels good to be alive crying into cereal at midnight. Like, such a unique lyric that just completely like explains what it was like in lockdown. Do you know what I mean? Really, really high highs, but it has fairly low lows too. So I'm gonna go for B, because that's kind of in the middle. Yes, that's what I think about Dance Fever. But yeah, like My Love particularly is like one of my favorite songs she's ever done. As Choreomania, as is Free, and they were insane live, absolutely just bouncing up and down. My poor mum and her knees, she was struggling a bit by the end, but she loved it anyway. Yes, okay, next, Harry's House. Okay, so this one, when I first listened to it, I was reading into it quite a lot, and I don't actually think that he actually put that much thought into into the concept of the album as much as I thought he had. Lol. And not that much of it stuck with me. A few songs, like A Dyke Satellite, Music for a Sushi Restaurant, by far the best song, easy. But none of the other songs really live up to that level, as it was a massive hit. I don't think it was really deserving of being such a big hit. Harry's written much better songs. So I'm gonna go with C. Good, not his best. Okay, Lizzo. So Lizzo obviously had like popped off this year. This is an album I hadn't actually listened to until today. I was like, oh shit, I need to include Lizzo on this list because it was quite a big release, and so I listened to it quick to make sure I had an opinion. Yeah, so it's maybe a little bit unfair because I haven't let the songs grow on me, but there wasn't really much of a standout. I really liked, what was the big single that wasn't the big one? To Be Loved. Am I ready? That one is so good. The rest of it is like, she still has like that kind of like typical Lizzo, like uplifting, like empowering message. But like, to me, it kind of like, a lot of it just merges into like slightly kind of meh disco homage. So I'm gonna put in D. Oh, I know a lot of you probably quite like Lizzo's album, and I'm no way shitting on Lizzo because like, I think she's a wonderful artist and she has so much kind of quirkiness to her. Like, her music is super empowering and super inspirational. Phone is one of my favorite songs ever. But this one, I don't know, like not that much of it really stuck out to me, not in the same way that stuff like Phone did. It's About Damn Time, I think. Second verse is obviously very catchy and became a big trend, but I don't think the rest of the song is all that strong. Scalding hot tea today. Okay, next, Super 8. Conan Gray. So I have very high expectations for this album, but I don't know whether it was to do with the release schedule. I don't know what was going on behind the scenes, but like, it felt like this album just was forgotten about. I think it was the release schedule of like the singles and stuff just kind of didn't really give it a good chance. And it's unfortunate because he put the best songs out like a year before the album came out. And so Astronomy and People Watching are among his best songs ever. And then the rest of the album just didn't live up to that, and it felt like it was really disappointing just because of like how good the singles. Oh yeah, Memories as well, that came out before, and so the album didn't really have that much effect on me. That said, I think the power of those songs is enough to put it in C. Yes, okay. Next, Renee, Rebay, Naissance. Yeah, I mean, if you've been following the channel, there was like a bit of crap that went on. Basically, my message got misunderstood, and I accept that I did not communicate very well. But anyway, that whole thing really upset me. Was I'm quite a sensitive guy. Like, I didn't listen to Beyonce's album until like 2 or 3 weeks ago because I just couldn't really bring myself to do it. Anyway, when I did finally listen to it, was really blown away by like how accomplished the album is. So obviously she's going for this idea that the whole album is like a DJ set, right? At least this is how I understand it. And you're kind of in like, you know, your house vibe, in your kind of, some of it's like throwback kind of disco stuff. There's lots of kind of dance homages that I'm not very good to speak on because I don't really know that much about dance music, but that's how I understand it. And each song flows from one into another, almost like, yeah, you're in a club and the DJ is like maintaining your vibe the whole way through the album. And so it's a strange listen because we're so used to Beyonce having very defined songs rather than like one piece that is just like a set. Considering that was what she's going for, like she pulled it off like incredibly well. Like the danceability of it is just insane. Like I find myself listening to it on the tube, just like, and particularly like I love Cuff It, I love Pure Honey, like stuff like Virgo's Groove is really cool as well. Like very like not typical Beyonce stuff, but like amazingly produced, insanely produced. Like the production on that is just a miracle, like how it manages to flow. And it has that flow. You don't even necessarily notice where you're being taken, but they have complete control over your body and the vibe and what you're doing. It's like pretty miraculous how well she's did it. So yes, incredibly well done. That said, obviously, as I said, like dance isn't really my genre, and so it hasn't stuck with me top tier. I can imagine if I was into dance music and into Beyonce, like a big Beyonce fan, then I would have died for this album, and it would be S. I'm lyrics and cry over stuff, that's where I am. And this isn't necessarily that vibe. So yes, it's going in A tier for Beyonce. Okay, so from one album that doesn't seem to be necessarily made for me to an album that is completely made for me, Rina Sawayama's Hold the Girl. My Rina journey. So I reacted to her on the channel back in 2021. I hadn't ever listened to her before. I discovered her debut album. I thought it was insane. Like really like blew me away. But like there were certain songs on there that have just like stuck with me. Stuff like Dynasty, stuff like XS, stuff like Akasaka Sad, Tokyo Love Hotel, like, and then going back into her old stuff like Cherry. I've slowly but surely become a big fan of hers. So when she started putting out singles for the new album, I was very intrigued to see where she was going to go, and I was not disappointed. Every single time she put out a single before the album, I was like, oh fuck, this is better than the last song. Oh shit, this is even better than the last song. It was like, I don't understand how she can just keep on putting them out. Boom, 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 boom. So this hell, I was like, this is weird. And then I got into it and was like, this is the song of the year. Spoilers. Then Catch Me in the Air came out, a beautiful ode to her mother and her relationship with a developing relationship with her mother. And then Hold the Girl came out, all about like therapy and like embracing your inner child, to this weird garage but huge drama thing. It was amazing. Then Phantom came out with that, which didn't stick with me initially, but when I listened to the full album was like, this is insane. Hurricanes, I waited till the album came out, but Hurricanes just blew me away. Compared to Conan Gray, where all the previous songs were great and then the album was not as good, like Hold the Girl, just the whole thing holds up. Even the opening song, Minor Feelings, like an intro song, beautiful. Forgiveness, one of my favourites on the album. I don't understand how it could like become one of my favourites on the album with all the other amazing songs on there, but it did. Holy Till You Let Me Go is so powerful. Dear John, like she's right. Dear John. Send my love to John. She's writing the apology from the parent to the gay child that the gay child never got. You know, she's taking that role and writing that song. It's just like amazing. And then actually in context of the whole album as a whole, the songs are even better. It's like, okay, basically it's my album of the year. It's one of my favourite albums of maybe the last like 5 years. The reason it was made specifically for me, I think, it's confessional, real lyricism where you can really connect to what they're going through, and it's sad but also incredibly empowering and very real. Like that is very important to me as a listener. Sonically, it strikes the perfect line for me between like pop, like it being catchy and it being like pop music, because I love pop music, but also it doing something different. Like harmonically, every single song has something really, really fascinating going on. That really, really, really gets my juices flowing. Goes all between these different genres, but somehow works really well. It's perfect for me, and therefore it's S. Boop. Okay, next. Björk. So Björk, another new discovery for me through the channel. It's been a fascinating journey. She's one of those artists that is like an experience to listen to. Like every time I discover something new from her, I feel like I'm learning, seeing a way of making music that I've never considered before. And so her importance can't be understated. This album, I think, in terms of like sonic texture, theming, and like some of the songs like Ancestress, which like talks about her mother who passed away, are very personal. It works on all those levels really brilliantly. That said, like I was saying about Beyonce, genre-wise, it's not necessarily what I listen to that much. I think I'm going to put it in B. I can appreciate the craft, you know, and objectively, I think it's brilliant. I think it's like unlike anything else, you know. So I'm going to put it in B because it kind of is between those. Do you know what I mean? Like, cool. Okay, we're on the last 3 albums. Next one, 1975. This is becoming like such a like retrospective about the year. My 1975 reaction, Matty Healy actually watched it, the lead singer, watched my 1975 reaction and was crying watching it and posted it on Instagram about it. Anyway, it was a whole thing. And so I have a very like emotional connection to the whole experience. It was a big deal for me. So I've been a big fan of this for a long time. But yeah, their 4th album was a rambling mess. And it had like some good songs on it, but I just like, as an album, I was like, this is like objectively not very good. Like, and so with this one, I was worried, especially hearing Part of the Band. I was a bit like, oh god, they're gonna go off the deep end with the craziness. But actually, Part of the Band was as like bonkers as it got, and actually they brought an album that I think straddled the line between experimentalism and actually a focused approach and really good poppy stuff. It walked the line really, really well, I think. And so many of the songs I listened to, like, again, like they've stuck with me. Stuff like Wintering, I adore. All I Need to Hear, obviously incredible, so moving. Oh Caroline has really stuck with me. I think that's beautifully written. Happiness is a great single. Like, sonically, there's loads of cool stuff going on, production-wise. So yeah, I'm gonna put it in A. Yeah, love it. So next we're going to go with Carly Rae Jepsen. I would consider myself a minor Jep friend. I would say I'm more of a emotion fan than I am a Carly Rae fan. Does that make sense? Like with Beyonce, I'd probably say I was more of like a Lemonade fan than I am a general Beyonce fan, if that makes sense. And so going into The Loneliest Time, I didn't have like super high expectations, especially because like Western Wind and stuff, I was a bit like, The Loneliest Time, the song, I really enjoy, and I love the memes. I love the TikToks. I'm coming back for you, baby. I'm coming back for you. It's like one of my favourite TikToks of the year. But altogether, not insane. But there were a few that I enjoyed, so I'm going to put it in C. And now this brings us to the final album, Tay Tay with the Nay Nay. So, obviously, Taylor is a massive artist for me. She's hugely inspiring. She's amazing at writing stories, and she's gone through so many eras and proved to be like supremely flexible. And some of her albums, particularly Red and Folklore, have struck such a big note with me. Like, and I've become a true Swiftie since starting the channel. And so when Midnights was announced, it was a big surprise. But this is also the first album since I've been a Swiftie to release within my Swiftie-ness. It was really strange for it to not have any lead single and for it to all kind of be like just dropped at the same time. So I had no idea what to expect. And in so many ways, it really blew me away. I really, really enjoyed the fact that she was doing a concept vibe. Like, I know that a lot of people kind of thought it was a bit subdued and it wasn't what they hoped for. But for me, like, it just felt like her proving that she could do another style of music. And like her saying, it's in the middle of the night vibes, it's brooding, it's all these thoughts that come into your head, like all the intrusive thoughts, like on Anti-Hero. It delivers that concept like really brilliantly. And there are songs on there that I think are real growers. I think that's probably why the initial reception wasn't all like, wow, this is the most incredible thing ever, because there are a lot of growers on the album. I think it's really brave of her to do an album that is made of growers and isn't just like full of hits. And that shows, I think, like the strength in her songwriting and the confidence in her songwriting that she has, that she's going to put out something that she knows might not connect with people initially, but she has faith that will connect with people over time. And so I think it's really, really, really good. Particular standouts being like Maroon, actually, Lavender Haze, Labyrinth, again, one that really grew on me. Karma didn't grow on me, but I love it. Anti-Hero grew on me. And then there's 3am songs. There's Shoulda, Woulda, Coulda, which I think is one of her best songs she's ever written. It's like really up there for me. That said, it didn't blow me away in the same way that Red did, for instance. Maybe that's an unfair comparison because she's not that person anymore. But yeah, it didn't quite like reach quite those heights for me. If it was going to be S tier, it would have to reach like Red level. Maybe I should do one of these for Taylor's albums. Oh, I've got to go do one of these for Taylor's albums. Yes, so it's going to go A. Cool. There we go. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Yeah, I'm happy that I moved Dawn FM down because like it's not the same level as Taylor, 1975, Beyonce and Rosalia. Apologies to these three guys. They did some beautiful stuff. Just I didn't go crazy for it. Well, there you go. Hope you enjoyed that. Obviously, this is not an exhaustive list of albums. On this channel, like I'm all about being open to new listening experiences. So like if there is anything I haven't included on this list that you think I need to listen to, then make sure to tell me. I want to know. I want to hear everything. If you want to actually play and do your own one of these, I'll leave the link in the description. Do it and then share your results with me on Twitter. You can follow me. It's at Lucent_music. Yeah, make sure to tag me on all of that. Yeah. And dispute the vibes in the comments as to where I put these two. But be nice. Be kind to each other because we don't want any fighting here. This is a safe space for people who appreciate all forms of music. And also don't be mean to me. Cool. Yeah, if you haven't already, make sure to check out my top 10 songs of the year where I listen back to my favourite songs of the year. Also make sure to check out my review of my Spotify Wrapped in the end of year review content. Yay. Also, yeah, make sure to let me know if you want me to do any more tier lists and what tier lists I should do before we sign off. Special shout out to my patrons. From the Crying Club tier upwards, you will get your name put in the video like this. If you want to support me on Patreon, get your videos early and request reactions, you can do so by clicking on the link on the screen wherever it is. Right. Thanks guys. See you later. Bye.